Hey guys, so this is my review of Nightwing: The New Order, number 6 of 6. So this is the finale of this series, and oh boy, I loved it. If you didn't read it, go read it. Go read it now, now. Go get this book. Go read the whole series. It's phenomenal. This review will be a little bit longer because I'm going to do a little wrap up of the whole series and kind of do my final thoughts on it. But as a whole, this series started, I guess, right in maybe the middle or after the first or so issue of Secret Empire, and so a lot of people in the first issue made comparisons that this was like DC's Secret Empire. It's not. It's not. This is done correctly, done right. It's wonderful. So, the main difference between the two, one, this is an Elseworld kind of happening in a different world. So, this isn't in continuity. So that's where they did it right first. But next, they take a beloved character and they kind of mar him a little bit with some fascist tendencies. So Dick Grayson, Nightwing, robs essentially all of the powers out of the world, and now formed almost like a police state, where people aren't allowed to have powers. If they are, they're quarantined with inhibitors, or they're put in stasis until there can be a cure, which essentially is never. No one's ever come out of stasis. So a lot of people are like, well, it's kind of like he's taking the cap role, and it's still just like Nazi Cap, but in DC. No, it's not like that. The reasoning behind what Nightwing did to get to this point really hits close to home. You have a father who is looking out for his son, but the reason why he does it, in I believe it's either the last issue or issue 4, you find out that Bruce dies, and in Bruce dying, Dick realizes he's only human. As a human, he can only do so much, and that the destruction that both heroes and powered villains are causing really were devastating the world. So he's like, look, if there were no powers, good or evil, there would be less destruction in the world. So he uses a weapon that was brought in from Apocalypse, and robs the world of their powers. But again, the way they do it is they humanize him, and he makes mistakes, and he does things, and it's done so well. And again, the whole series, I caught it on the second printing of the first issue, and I was like, I can't believe I slept on that first issue, and I added it to my subs right away, and I've been picking it up ever since, and it's been great. So let's dive into this issue. There is a lot that goes on, so I'm just going to kind of skip around. So at the end of the 5th issue, it was clear that Dick, the Resistance have picked up, which are a small group of Starfire, Wally West, Superman, Lois Lane, who is a White Lantern, and Lex Luthor, are all kind of this resistance team, and they want to bring powers back to the world. So they have Dick. They have helped Dick who was trying to just escape. Dick's son Jake has superpowers. It's like almost like a kind of a generic telekinesis, where he can absorb energy and then expel it. But originally, when it was found out that Jake had powers, all Dick wanted to do was just get away. He's like, look, I don't want my son to go through any of the stuff that I know I put people with powers through, so I want to escape. And of course, that put him on the Crusaders, which is the company, like the police state that he worked for, put him in their shit list. Oh, excuse my language. But, then so the Resistance help him out. Well, at the end of the last issue, he kind of turns his back on the Resistance, calls as for a get out jail free card, essentially saying, "Hey, I'll give you the Resistance, but I'm taking Jake." So Jake is watching some old, footage of, Dick Grayson as Robin and Batman fighting Killer Croc. So they escape and, essentially turn over. Now, this is what I was actually kind of interested in, that the fact that there are superpowered people working for the Crusaders, like Green Lantern. And that's, can't remember his last name, John, the Green Lantern, and Tornado and Atom. And it's a female Captain Cold, and I can't remember who that is. So anyway, him and Jake escape, but it leads to this conversation. And this, like, I almost put down the book right here and want to just do a review just on this page. These 2 pages, where it's just Dick and Jake having a conversation. So, Jake obviously feels betrayed by his dad. His dad, kind of took him without question. Lex Luthor wanted to make a cure for the anti-superhero thing that would, bring people with powers back. Well, Jake doesn't want that, or Dick doesn't want that, so he kind of goes, and he has this incredibly grown-up conversation with his son, where he's like, he's like, "I'm heading back." He's like, "I want the world. I'm not going anywhere with you. I'm going back with them to fix the world before you broke it." And Dick's like, "That I broke?" He's like, "The world was broken well before me." And he kind of goes into this, like, whole conversation about, like, you see the videos, you've watched videos of me and, Bruce fighting criminals. He's like, that's not it. He's like, people were dying every day. Deaths were happening. People we loved were dying. He's like, I did, what I thought I needed to do to fix the world at that time. He's like, that's what growing up is, Jake. Accepting the world as it is, not how you wish it were. And, like, I think that right there should hit home to every SJW. Your world, the world we live in, is not just your world. It's like you share it. It's not what you wish it to be. It is what it is. And, you just have to realize it. Like all the Twitter drama going right now over at Marvel with, people literally throwing hissy fits because of an artist thinking one way or not thinking one way, or like, this person, like, I don't want to work on a book with this person because they're a Republican, or I don't want to work on this book because, they misgendered somebody. It's like, shut up right now. You live in a world, you share a world. Shut up, do your job. If you have to work next to somebody who gets on your nerves, deal with it. Just deal with it. Read this book, deal with it. But then, so obviously that kind of puts Jake in his place. He's like, look, I realize it. But then he's like, look, I should have been there for you. I should have been a better, I could have been a sidekick. I could have been a Robin for you, because you were there to be the light when Bruce was in a dark place, and I should have been there for you when you were in a dark place. And a really great father-son moment that is just like, you're like, writing is like A+, like genius. Loved it. Then you get some good battle scenes. A lot of double page ads. I hate double page ads because you just flip and you're just like, I gotta look at a stupid ad. So some fighting, but then they get Jake back to the Resistance, to try and get people with superpowers. Superman is obviously the first test subject. So they use the technology to get Superman his powers back. That way they can stop the Crusaders from coming in, and they can give everyone their powers back. Well, then there is this really great catch-22 plot point where Lex turns on them, and he's like, there's a bomb under this area, it's going to explode. And now with the technology that I know where how to give people's powers back, he's like, I'm going to give everyone powers. He's like, I'm not going to be powerless or whatever. But in doing so, it's going to blow up Metropolis. And this, I love this line too. So Lex gets Superman his powers back, and he's like, my greatest achievement, I am your god, Superman. And it just goes, that one line right there was like, Lex, you are still not a good guy. Like, it's all ego. You were only playing nice because the playing field was level. Now that you know how to not level the playing field, you're right back to being Lex Luthor. Again, perfect. So, some fighting ensues, and I'm going to skip all that, but there's a really great epilogue, and this whole series, you can tell has been narrated by Jake. You don't know when, but this was my one problem with this book, and it's one word, and it's this right here. So Liz is an officer of the Crusaders, and so the Crusaders still operate it, helping regulate powers, but without my dad. It started as a new era, new generation. Liz finally getting promoted reflected that. Okay, so Liz gets promoted. Why is promoted in quotes? Like, was it a fake promotion? Was it like a just in title only kind of promotion? I mean, I would think she just got promoted. She was doing a good job or whatever. She got promoted. But then it turns out that Jake is narrating this book as a description for his son, to say like, hey, look, you try and figure out who your parents are before you met them. He's like, and I'm recording this to help you get an idea of who I was before you met me, and why I gave you the name of the greatest man I've ever known, and obviously named him Richard. Again, super series. If you didn't read it, try and find somewhere that has all 6 issues, or I'm sure trade paper will be out in like a couple months, but really good. Again, you want to tell a really good story, that's it right there. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos. Hit me up on the alerts, or, Alright, thanks guys.